What do you get for somebody who has everything? Or what do you get for the person who means the most to you when you don't have very much money to spend on them? This is the question that has come up quite a lot for me in my life. And last night I was feeling a little bit nostalgic. Now, if you've been following my journey for a while, then you know that I kind of have been running into some money issues. I don't feel a lack of abundance because, honestly, I get what I need. Not only that, I get more than I need sometimes, and then I put it back out into the world. In fact, just earlier this week, the school my son is now attending, because he's in middle school, he's no longer at elementary school, they called me up and they're like, would you like another food hamper? We are giving these out because of what the government is basically doing is they're making sure that families are getting enough food for their kids, especially with the cost of groceries being what it is. I mean, it's not much, but it's still abundance. And I already get one from the school where my daughter is, and we've had that program since the start, and they're on the school lunches. So my son's on his school lunch, my daughter's on hers. She gets breakfast. My son doesn't really eat breakfast, but if they had a breakfast program, he'd probably be on that too. I'll take the help, because you know what? Even if I can afford some groceries, it is tight. It is tight right now, and maybe you're noticing the cost of groceries is going up, and it's been about $200 a week for me to feed these kids. Now, my ex has also been dealing with issues. I mean, everybody seems to be having these issues right now, where they're trying to do everything possible to chase the gold, and it's just not coming, and they're wondering, well, what's going on? Well, guess what? Sometimes it's not the actual money. Sometimes the abundance comes in a different way. In my case, I said to the universe that I needed more food for my son, and I wanted some good food. I was like, I'd like to be able to have some of the pastas covered, and I'd like to be able to have some fruit. And, you know, the box came, and it had apples, and it had bananas, and had oranges. I'm like, good, because the thing of oranges that I thought was going to last the week lasted a day and a half. I was so excited when I bought these mandarin oranges. They were on sale, and I was like, good, we'll be able to have some oranges for the week. But my kids are ravenous, hungry little things, and, you know, I'm not going to fault them for being hungry. I get it. At the same time, it's like, you see it, you put it out there, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to spend more money. And the holidays are coming up. In my case, my birthday is next month. And the birthday of someone so precious to me is at the end of this month. And last year, when I wanted to celebrate his birthday, I went a little bit more than I did the year before because, of course, I couldn't go too much with my true love. For a long time, we were just friends, and we had to just keep that little tiny bit of separation of distance. Neither one of us was really ready to reveal all, and the timing wasn't right. But every year on his birthday, ever since I learned it, I celebrated every year. The first year, we hadn't even known each other a year yet, so we were still kind of in the very early stages where I sent him a quick happy birthday message. And I sent it privately just to let him know that I was thinking of him. I mean, this is someone who could get anything he wanted. And I didn't have much to give at all, except my time and my thought. So I gave him that. The next year, though, we had had more of a connection and more of an understanding, and I was feeling more confident to share more of what I see as a great gift for my friends and those I love, which is to see their greatest potential and reflect it back to them, and to reflect all of their magnificence that they already have inside. My brother, as I call him, he's my older brother. His birthday is coming up at around the same time as mine, actually, just a day after. He is he's been holding so much space to me, and his love is no small thing either. So, ladies, if you're looking for an eligible bachelor who is incredibly good at holding space, even for the most chaotic of women, then I know somebody. He's turning 50 this year. So if any women are out there that are in their 40s and they're thinking, there are no good men, or any women in their 50s or approaching 50 who are like, there are no good men, I know a good man, a really good one who has been intentionally off the dating market because he's been working on himself, and his little sister has been holding space for him. So he also reminds me a lot of my true love. Though they don't have any of the same physical features, it's just the way he holds space. And one of the gifts that my true love has given me, as I've given him the words, he's held the space. And I'd given him a birthday letter that year, and I told him of his magnificence. Like, for the man who has everything, this is the one thing that only I can give you, because of how deeply I see you. And so I gave it to him. And I gave it to him freely. I didn't expect anything in return out of it. I knew what I'd like. I wanted him to fall more in love with himself. Because the greatest gift that you can give someone is having them fall more in love with themselves. And that's the theme here, is that it's not the toys you buy your kids. It's not the gifts you buy your spouse. If somebody came to you and said, I want to marry you and I can't even afford a ring, well, they might try to go seek their fortune to try to give you the world. But it doesn't matter. Like Princess Buttercup, she didn't actually want Wesley to go, but he had no money for marriage. And so she let him seek his fortune. But she was waiting for him all that time. 5 years had passed, waiting, and before she was even going to get married to Prince Humperdinck. And that was mostly because she didn't have any choice. I mean, if you read the book, it's even better than the movie. Though, I love the movie. Princess Bride is one of my favorites because death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while. And I love everything about that movie. Anyway, my point is that even though I couldn't buy my true love gifts, and I couldn't even celebrate with him in person due to circumstances, I was always thinking about him on his birthday. And even when I can't give my children very much, what I give them means so much to them. My kids, a lot of people don't get this. They go and they spend a lot of money on my kids. They buy them a whole bunch of gifts, but they're not giving their time. And so to my kids, it's still just a thing. It's another toy. And then they're like, well, why isn't the child playing with the toy? Why aren't they more excited for the toy? Well, because usually their favorite people are in the room and they want the time. My kids love being able to just spend time. In fact, my son thinks the most precious thing that he can get after school is mommy time. He requests it specifically. I'm so tired these days. Not because anything's wrong with me. It's just I've been putting so much energy out into the world, and I'm very sensitive to what's going on with the lunar cycles, the eclipses, and there's just some days where I just need to rest and take in the downloads that come to me, the inspirations. And then I usually get my fire back. It's just, it's one of those things. But because it's time that my kids want, I find ways to make it work. Even when I'm super tired, I find a way to show them my love. If I can't buy something because the money hasn't come in yet, they still get some love. And because of that, my kids have such gratitude for the time that people spend with them. It's not gifts, it's time. The gift is the symbol of the time spent. But a gift without time spent is just another thing. And this is why I think this year I'm not spending any money. Well, maybe a little bit, but not very much. I already decided to get my kids the advent calendars, but things are really lean at the moment. And I'd rather spend what money I do have on time. My son would probably really light up if I went and got the new Deadpool movie on streaming, because it's out now. And the symbol of that is that now we get to curl up and we'll get to watch that. So, you can get something that downloads to the house and brings more joy. And I love video games because the ones that I play are to bring my kids into that world. So I got Pokemon Snap #2 one year. And I have the streaming for Nintendo. And I have Netflix. And every night before bed, we watch Netflix, me and my daughter, and we watch Gilmore Girls. And Lorelai didn't have very much either growing up with Rory. When she was with Emily and Richard, of course, she had everything. But you can have everything in the world. You can be able to buy a plane, and it's still not what you need. And, I think we're approaching that episode soon where there's that, where Rory has just moved out of Emily's place after realizing the control that Lorelai had always talked about every year. And she's like, oh, this is really what my grandparents are like. They control, and they control through gifts, and they control through money, and I don't want that. And Emily's response to that was she went out and she tried to buy a plane. The more I think about it, the more I see that there's so many parallels with just giving time versus giving gifts. And true love does not cost a thing. So you're probably wondering, after I got into connection with my true love, when I told him everything, when I was no longer just the friend that was standing for his greatness, but truly revealed my feelings, and I knew, and I looked into his eyes, and we both knew, it's like, oh yeah, this is it. It's not time yet, and this is it, and we're working towards something together. And our paths may diverge, but we're working towards something. And he opened the door. Yes, I bought him a few little trinkets. They were personalized. They were perfect for him. They're little tokens of affection. And they're sitting inside of my drawer. And they're waiting for him. And when he is able to get over here, he will have them. And he will know just how much I was thinking of him while he was away. I also bought other things that I was thinking is like, this is what I'm going to wear for him when I am out on the town, or when we are, well, I mean, a girl's got to look good, doesn't she? I mean, she doesn't have to, but, you know, when you put that effort in, it is appreciated by the right person. So, I bought things for myself. I was joyful in my shopping for myself. And I was joyful in the things that I was wearing because, like, I get to wear this for him. I'll get to wear this and I feel pretty in it and I feel gorgeous again and I'm back to being me. I mean, even this bodysuit. When I was still just getting to know him, I was always thinking of him. And I bought clothes that I knew I looked good in, that I would enjoy, and there was always this thought in my head. It's like, I can't wait till he sees me in this one. I can't wait till he sees me in this one. I can't wait until I show up and his eyes just light up because of how good I look. Because, I mean, when we first met, I did not look as polished. I was still taking clothes from other people because all my beautiful wardrobe that I'd had for years, that I'd bought for my ex to enjoy, and they all melted in the fire. So I needed a new wardrobe once I left because I wanted to look really good. Not only that, but being that I was on camera and being that I was going to be teaching and doing my own thing, I wanted to look good. I wanted to look professional. I wanted to look classy. And but yeah. Women dress for themselves. And the right man also appreciates it. And then that makes us want to dress even more. So, you might notice though, because I've changed my spot. I'm sitting on my bed, as you can tell. I'm in my bedroom. You might be wondering why. Well, I'm not going to tell you everything. What I am going to say is that last year, when I knew that my true love could not get to me, and that I needed to showcase my love in a way that we couldn't physically be together, that I needed to show him every day, give him that little bit of inspiration. Not just the fire, but to keep him going on his path. I told him just how powerful he was, and I'm like, rise up, my gorgeous, sexy phoenix. Because as I said, he's a Scorpio too, and Scorpio, the last symbol of Scorpio is the phoenix. So I'm like, rise up, you gorgeous, sexy phoenix of mine. I know that whatever you're working on, you are going to crush it. Go chase your dreams. I'm here. I'm cheering you on. Keep going. I know it's hard right now, baby. And you're doing it. If anybody can do this, you can. And you know, even though he ended up closing the door at the end of the year, I get it, because I wanted to go down a trip down memory lane last night. And it was really a lot of messages that I'd already left. And they were so diverse, and I'm like, you know what? He's got what he needs. He can go back and he can reread those messages. Just like the little tiny bit that I still have saved that didn't get destroyed when my hard drive fell to the floor. I mean, there's still so much. I really hope that he has some of it on his side so that we can pool our little collections together, because I would be really, really sad if I lost those early days when we were falling in love, or remembering love, I should say, because we fell right away. I was just trying to remember. And it was just nice because he'd blush and I'd blush, and it's nice to go back and look. At the same time, a memory does not fade if you continue to hold on to it. And so this time, when I was reaching out to him around his birthday, I did something that I wanted to do in person. And I'd wanted to do it since I first fell in love with him. It was something that's like very simple. I made him cupcakes. And I put a letter on each one of the cupcakes, spelling out a message that was just to him, from me and from the kids. So we baked cupcakes, and I took a picture and I showed it to him. And the kids and I enjoyed the cupcakes on his behalf. And I told him about how much it delighted me to make those cupcakes. And I also gave him access to something that I'd also created for myself, which nobody else can get the keys because it's just for him and just for me. But it was a playlist, because I had so many songs that came to me that reminded me of him that I'd started collecting them. And I would put them on shuffle, and they were on YouTube, so I didn't even have to really do much other than save them. But they were in this special playlist with a special message just for him, and I gave him the link. So you see, even if you're struggling right now to try to figure out how the heck you can show somebody how much you love them, if you're like, my wife's birthday's coming up, or my husband's birthday's coming up, or it's Christmas time and I just want to show my love how much they mean to me, but I can't afford to buy anything, or they already have everything. Doesn't cost anything to make a playlist on YouTube, you know. And that's what I gave him access to. And then some of those songs I'd also sprinkled into our chat. And if I found something new, I would add it. In fact, I continue to add to this playlist. It's an ever-evolving playlist. It's not stagnant like a CD or a mixtape. This is like next level. Creating a playlist just for your partner so that they can remember. Because there's something about music that brings out those memories and those feelings every time. So I gave him the playlist, and I took the picture of the cupcakes. And then what I did, well, by that point it had already been long enough that if I added a little bit more fire, just a tiny, tiny little bit, that would be greatly appreciated too. I mean, I may not have had him physically with me, but, you know, even if you're in a long-distance relationship with someone, there are ways to entice them without even giving them everything. Even if you're self-conscious and you're like, I don't really want to bear it all for the camera, I don't want to do OnlyFans. There are ways, very subtle ways. In fact, ladies, I might even, I could be persuaded if there was enough interest there on how to do a long-distance seduction game. I actually tie a lot of marketing concepts to it as well. It was really enlightening. And it made my romance novel writing even better. So if you're an aspiring writer, well, I've dabbled. And I shared that with my true love too. I shared some of my old stories. And I had stories that I'd written about us and things that had inspired me. And basically, I custom crafted love for him. Instead of the cookie cutter Hallmark cards and greeting cards and things out there that are just like anybody could get you that. But when somebody takes the time to really get to know you, they know exactly what to say, even in a room of hundreds of people, thousands of people, and they have taken that time to really get to know what buttons to push in just the right order, subtly, that speaks wonders. So, in this time, I've now recognized, like, oh, he's got everything he needs. And it really is that simple. The things laid out on your table. You don't need to chase gold to try to show somebody that you care. You don't need to chase gold to get abundance. It's right there. Your creative imagination can be worth more than anything that you get in the store. And at Christmas time, I got even more ideas and pictures and things that I screenshotted, quotes, songs. And I'm a content creator, so I know how to create a reel. And I still didn't give everything away because I'm a lady. But, you know, I wouldn't put that stuff online for anybody but him anyway. It's all his. And it's sitting in a place where he can go to it no matter where he is in the world. No matter where he's at, if he's got his phone, he can just go and open it up. I did voice messages. I sang to him. I serenaded him with songs that held meaning for us. And you know, again, when your true love sings to you, you can truly appreciate it. When I was with my ex, there were times where I didn't have much to give. I didn't even have much energy. I couldn't even be in the bedroom because it was like, we've got the kids and like there's just no way. But I still thought of him. And one year I had cut out 14 little hearts, and I'd written 14 little things that I loved and adored about him and some memories. And I put them all over the mirror, one per day. But then the next year, of course, the kids were much bigger, and my daughter was a toddler and my son was a preschooler, and I was really, really tired, and I didn't have the energy to do it again, to make something new. But you know, you don't have to. As a marketer, you can understand that you can even reuse old content. So what I did is I took the old hearts that I'd saved, because I save things that are important, and I put them back on the mirror. But rather than appreciating the little bit of effort that I put in, because I was so tired, I was kind of torn down for it. And I was told, oh, you didn't do something new. So, like, this is the same thing you did last year. It doesn't have any meaning. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, this is the best I could do this year. I was so tired, and like, kids, like, this is the best I could do. I just wanted to show you I appreciated you. When it's not the right person in your life, and this doesn't even have to be romantic, but if it's not the right person, then when you get a gift, there, like, it doesn't matter if it costs thousands of dollars or if it costs you $1. They're going to treasure it either way. It's the thought that counts. But if they're not the right person, they're also going to be like, well, why didn't you spend more on me? Or this isn't exactly what I wanted. You don't know me at all. And they throw your gift back in your face. And maybe you have a different love language than they do, and you speak in your love language, and they are aware that that's your love language. But because it's not their love language, they're like, well, it's not mine, so therefore it doesn't count. No. No. My true love can speak to me in any love language he wants. And one of them that I've noticed is that there's an act of service. And he has done that so well. He's also good with words of affirmation in certain settings. So, I know he loves me. And so, even if somebody is used to getting lavish treatment, or kids are used to getting lots and lots of presents under the tree, if there's a lean year, they're not going to care. And I remember one year, my dad had just started school. He decided to go to university to better himself, and I remember that we didn't really get very much that Christmas. But what we did get, he had met someone back then. She had 2 kids. And you know what I got that year for Christmas when I was 11? Family. I was so happy, and I had a little bit of money, and I bought everybody gifts, and I was so happy wrapping things up. And I also wrapped up old toys, and I gave it to the kids. Because you know what? Sometimes you just take something old that you already have. You don't have to buy something new. Give it to them that way. Or you make something. I mean, now we've got so many creative ways, and I'm such a content creator that I've got lots of creative things. Part of why I'm sad about that hard drive is because I'd saved things for my true love. And I don't know if I'll ever get those back. All the things that I've saved for him. The delight that I had when I was moving towards new levels in my ambitions, that initial excitement is gone. So the reason I'm actually in my bedroom is because I decided that whether my true love is able to get to me in time for his birthday or even in time for Christmas, I don't have much to spend right now, but I can still recover some of those memories, even if they were wiped off on the hard drive. So instead, I decided to record myself reading some stories to him. I'd written our love story, kind of like The Notebook. You know The Notebook, right? Where Allie had written out the story so that when her mind was going, that Noah would be able to read it to her and she'd be able to come back to him. Well, I'd written out the story, mostly for me, but also for him. And I'm like, you know what? I can't give that big file that I wanted to give because it's gone. But I can always create more. Just like with my business, I'm like, you know what? All those things that I had that I was going to create and add more value to my community, I can just create new stuff. Because the most valuable thing is me. And I've got all the memories. I've got all the heart. So again, if you're out there chasing gold because maybe the holidays are coming up and you want to give that special someone in your life a gift, or you think that whatever you have isn't good enough, or it's for your kids and you're like, you know, it's going to be a lean Christmas this year. It's going to be a lean holiday. Sometimes there's birthdays that stack up just after the holidays. I mean, I get it. Just want to remind you of something. That it really doesn't take much. It really just takes your time and your thought and your effort and knowing them better than anybody else, what they want most. If I told my son, hey, you've got your advent calendar, and what I'm going to give you is we're going to sit down and we're going to watch Deadpool. I'm going to get all 3 of those movies. We're going to have them for streaming. And you and I are going to sit down and watch a Deadpool marathon. That's our Christmas present. Because we already have our Christmas tradition where we sit down and we watch Home Alone and Nightmare Before Christmas and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, both of them. Actually, now there's 3. But, I mean, the Jim Carrey one. and I sing the songs when I'm with the kids because I love to sing. And I mean, we do that for Halloween too. So, I don't really need stuff as much as I want time. And this is because of how I grew up. We didn't have a lot of money. I mean, people would give me stuff, but that was nice. And I've recognized time is more important. And I didn't get a lot of that, except with a few people. There's nothing more precious than time with those you love. Whether they're blood-related relatives or whether they are a soul family that you have put together. Because you just love spending time with those people. In fact, my adopted dad is coming up to see me, and that in itself is a great gift. I'm so excited. It's been a few years. I can't wait to hug him. So, yeah, it's that. When you can't wait to hug somebody, as opposed to get something. What did you bring me? Where's my gift? But, I had this dream last night. And, I had a dream before that where my true love had come. He just walked in through the gate and he had a guitar and he didn't say a word. And I just looked at him like, before you think you're going to serenade me, you're going to give me a hug first. And then, of course, the dream ended, but it was just so nice. It's like, that was all I wanted. And it's like, the serenading part is also pretty damn romantic, don't you think? And you don't have to do anything. Or you could go and get a collection of poetry and you could put it together and give it to someone that you care about and say, this is all the things that make me think of you. And that in itself is better than jewelry. I mean, if my true love told me, hey, I haven't been able to get much right now. Things are still kind of tight. I mean, I could, but at the same time trying to invest in things and also, like, where are our priorities? I'd be like, what did you save for me? There's something that doesn't cost anything. I bet you have that you could show me. I mean, if I've been saving so much stuff, I wouldn't put it past him to have a collection or a playlist of his own or something. Or he could put something together as something special. Because again, when it's the right person, that means everything. The wrong one is going to look at you like a cheapskate, but they're not right for you. And my kids know that mommy time is the most important time. And time with the people they love is so important to them. But my throat is feeling a little bit better. And I was hearing this song in my head. And for anybody out there chasing gold who isn't quite sure where the real gold in abundance lies, I've got a song for you. It's a classic. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one, but I know you have your reasons. The things that are pleasing you will hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. But the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Well, it seems to me some fine things have been laid out on your table, but you only want the ones that you can't get. Desperado, Oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger are driving you home. And freedom, oh freedom, well that's just some people talking. The prison you're walking in this world all alone. Don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun don't shine. It's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. And you're losing all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Desperado, you got to come to your senses. Come down from your fences and open the gate. It may be raining, but there's a rainbow above you. You gotta let somebody love you. Let somebody love you. You gotta let somebody love you before it's too late. And for any of you who don't yet have their special someone, and you're feeling really lonely right now, and you're not sure if they're ever coming in, do you know who the most important person to love is? Pour all that love that you have to give into yourself first. Chase your dreams, your true passions, everything that delights you. And the person who is meant for you will see that. They will see you glow and shine in your delight. And they will fall in love with you, your true self. Because you know what? They are the same. And your heart calls to theirs like a siren. So, stop drawing the Queen of Diamonds. Go for the Queen of Hearts. And, there's a shift happening. I've been tracing it back for the last several years. And it seems to always come around this time. And I'm really excited because, everything that I started to let my true love know around this time, that's an incredible memory in itself. And I'm really grateful that I did share that. Because if I had just kept it in a file, all of that would have been gone. Because I did screenshot them all. I had them all saved. They were in my little love bank, as I called it. But when the hard drive fell, that part went away. But it was saved somewhere. Sometimes going back and reading old conversations can be enough. And if somebody else has saved those old conversations, it's like Gilmore Girls again. God, I love that show. I mean, there's some things it's like, Lorelai, you've got some toxicity you've got to work through. But her relationship with Luke. So she finally goes on a date with Luke after Rory's gone off to college. And he's finally declared himself after Lorelai has been... Luke and Lorelai were doing some things. It's like, what are you doing? Everybody around them knew that those two belonged together. But they were hemming and hawing, and finally Luke sat down, and he was fed up with his patterns, and he's like, I'm sick and tired of not having what I want. And Lorelai was tired of it too. So he actually got a personal development book. It was a self-help book. And he had been listening to it, and it's like, when you have something special to tell someone, who is she? Like, that episode was great. And then at the end, he also gave it off to Jess. And then Jess tried with Rory, but he went about it the wrong way. He was trying to get Rory to leave Yale, and she wasn't going to do that. So he goes away, but that episode was just so heartbreaking. And also so beautiful. Because Luke finally declares himself to Lorelai, as another man was trying to move in on his territory that Lorelai had dropped, because she's like, I can't be with anybody who's going to sue my father. It's like, yeah, we worked great until you went and tried to sue my father. And now my dad and I have issues, but you can't do that. And she wasn't going to deal with it, but he was so persistent. But finally he gives up. And anyway, she kisses Luke. And then, of course, later they have their first date. And Luke is sitting down with her. He's taken her to a restaurant that he's never taken any woman to, because the people that run that restaurant, he treats as his family. Luke didn't have his own family around him. His dad had passed away and his mom was gone. And he's like, well, these are the people that are closest to family. So he takes her to that restaurant to meet his family that he has adopted. And then he also pulls something out. He says, a long time ago, 7 years ago, or maybe it was 8 years, he's like, I was working my diner shift, and I was running my diner, and this woman came in, and she's like, coffee, I need coffee now. And I was really swamped, and I was very busy. And I told her she had to wait. And she would not stop bugging me. And I was so annoyed. And then she's finally like, well, what's your horoscope? And I tell her I'm Scorpio, and she's like, okay. And then right next to it, she writes, you will meet a woman today who is very annoying. Give her coffee and she'll go away. And Lorelai's like, and I did not go away. And he's like, nope, you didn't go away. And it's like, and then you also said to hold on to this because it might bring me luck. And he opens his wallet and he pulls it out. He had been saving it for 8 years. And he's trying to brush it off, of course. And she's like, you kept it in your wallet. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I never throw anything away. It's like, you kept it in your wallet. And he's, of course, trying to play all tough. And he's like, no, you're reading too much into it. And it's like, oh, no. Now you've admitted that you have been pining for me for 8 years. You can't go back from that. And it was so cute. And it's just like, yeah. When you truly love someone, you hold on to things. Things that they might not expect you to hold on to. Memories that they have of you that at the time might have seemed ordinary. And yeah, that's all you have to do. I think I know what I'm going to give my kids. I'm going to go pull out their baby pictures and I'm going to show them to them. I'm going to put them in a file for them. And I'm going to put it on a flash drive for my son, particularly. Because he's always been asking me to see the videos of him as a baby. And I can get them off of my Facebook. I know how to do that. I was doing it with my Carly Uncensored stuff. So I could probably go back and get those videos at least. The ones that technically the raw file had been burned in the fire. And then there's other ones that were dropped off of my hard drive. So I'll go get those. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something together for the kids. That actually reminds me too. One of the greatest gifts my mom gave me, besides my Phoenix necklace that I love, because it was the most meaningful thing, because it's so me, and I wasn't expecting anything like that. But before that, she had given me a DVD that I really hope it did survive the fire properly. But it's called I Hope You Dance. And she had saved so many pictures of me growing up. I don't even know where she got them all. And then she put them to music. mean, that didn't cost her very much, but she did that. So, Mommy, if you're out there and you're wondering what to get me, my hard drive crashed and I lost a lot of pictures, but, you're on my Facebook. You could probably get some more stuff. I'd really like another one. Can you make me a new one? Just in case the old one didn't work. And you don't even have to put it on a DVD. Just put it on a flash drive. You can put the movie on a flash drive for me and send it in the mail. Because I know that CD burning technology doesn't seem to work very well anymore. And this way I can watch it anywhere. Because I don't even have a CD drive or a DVD drive in this laptop. They don't make them anymore? That's just not a thing. But if you put it on a flash drive, this goes for anyone. You put it on a flash drive, and that'd be really special. And there were songs I sang with my mom too when I was growing up. I think Michaela would probably love it too if I did that for her. So see, I just gave you some examples. I gave you some examples of precious things that you can create for people in your life that you love that don't cost a thing. Even if you do have the money available, sometimes it's better spent building your dreams. And if you spend it all on gifts and things, then you deplete yourself. And I don't think I want to do that this year. I think I want to invest in my next levels. I think I want to invest in my dreams. Build something that's going to last. Because castles of sand, castles built on sand without a solid foundation, they can sink. So if your castle is built on pillars of sand instead of a solid foundation of love and family and connection, and that family doesn't even have to be blood, well, what are you going to do when that castle sinks? Family's everything. Love is everything. Don't be swayed. All right. And I think that's everything I have right now. I'm feeling a little bit better after my nap, so I think I'm going to continue with my little project that I have. He's going to love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share it with him. If he was watching this right now, or somebody happened to know that they could get that message to him that he's getting a really special present, well, that would probably motivate him even more. And yeah, go take a walk down memory lane. Trust me, it might be the best hour you spend. I had so much fun last night, just reading back my old messages to him, seeing the love in every single one. I'm like, this is just, it really did my heart good. All right. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.